ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः। क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञविभागयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव विध्यनादि उभावपि विकारांश्च गुणांश्चैव विद्धि प्रकृतिसम्भवान् कार्यकरणकर्तृत्वे हेतुः प्रकृतिरुच्यते पुरुषः सुखदुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सदसद्यो निजन्मसु उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तो देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयोऽभिजायते ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मानमात्मना अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः श्रुत्वान्येभ्यः उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चित् सत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमं क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात् तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभ समं सर्वेषु भूतेषु तिष्ठन्तं परमेश्वरं विनश्यत्स्य विनश्यन्तं यः पश्यति स पश्यति. That's it. Jai Gurudev, Sumaji, are you able to share the screen? Yeah.
Yeah, I can share. Can you all see?
Yes.
Can you all see my screen?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Just enlarge the screen a bit.
Enlarge.
You can remove that all tools.
Brahmaraji, your voice is low, less. Others' voice are very clear to us.
Click on
Can
that the X mark on all tools.
Wait. I'll share another PDF.
No, this is fine. You just have to
This
click
one?
on.
This one is better?
Yes, this is fine.
Yes, good.
Okay. We are on which shloka should we redo today?
We'll do 23.
Sumaji, can you click on that square box and that one, it will enlarge the screen.
Which square box?
The rectangle one, right, on to your right. The red rectangle that you have.
This one. This one. No, it says stop sharing.
No, this, no, not there. If you go on the above the scroll bar, above the
She
scroll.
means next to the X, next to the red X.
Yeah.
I'm not having that on my screen.
You have it. It's on the Outlook. It shows under your name, Suma Venkatesh. It says Suma Venkatesh there under that. You don't see it? Okay.
No.
It's
Okay,
okay.
never mind.
You just
Yeah.
enlarge this.
Yeah, I'll just go to verse 23, right?
Yeah.
23. Here.
Not 23, sorry, 24.
I'm not able to enlarge it any further.
You just pinch it out and you'll be able to enlarge it. I think individually we can do it.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I think individually whoever's on the screen can kind of enlarge it.
Yeah, your screen you enlarge.
Yeah.
Because I'm not seeing anything that allows me to enlarge this one.
Although you should be able to yourself, like how we are able to, you should also be able to do it. But never mind, if you're not able to get your hands on that, that's fine.
Yeah, will you read this shloka?
Yeah. ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मानमात्मना अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे. By contemplation in the mind, some see the self with the self, the prepared mind, others by knowledge, and others by karma yoga. Actually, we
Ah.
did this whole thing yesterday.
That
think-
one disappeared, so I'll have to go back to this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did this whole thing yesterday. So we do it again?
Yeah, we'll do it again. We can't see the
You're
PDF now.
showing some your email things, but you're not
Oh.
showing the PDF.
Okay, I'll start again then.
Mm.
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can remove
Dhyanena.
all tools. Yeah.
Ah.
Remove
Is it
that.
okay now?
You'll have to move your screen towards the left a bit. Or we can do it ourselves. I don't know. I'm able to do it myself. That's fine. You can center your screen and then go ahead.
I do not know how to do that. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I think each of us can do it on individually. Now, not an issue.
Dhyanena, by contemplation, Atmani, in the mind, Pashyan, Pashyanti Kechit, some see, Atmanam, the self, Atmana, with self, the prepared mind, Anye, others, Shankyena Yogena, by knowledge, Cha apare, and others, Karma Yogena, by Karma Yoga. By contemplation in the mind, some see the self with the self, the prepared mind, others by knowledge, and others by Karma Yoga. The means for moksha. Shankara introduces this verse saying that regarding the vision of Atma, Atma Darshane, there are many optional methods, and these are cited here. Shankara's use of the word darshana, vision, is important and deliberate. The context is a dialogue in Brahadaranyaka Upanishad between Yajnavalkya and his wife Maitreyi. He has decided to distribute his wealth to his two wives and live a life of sannyasa for the purpose of gaining moksha. Maitreyi asked him whether, with all the wealth he was leaving her, she could also gain moksha. And he responded that there was no hope of getting moksha by wealth. Then she asked him for the means for moksha. Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. First, he makes her understand that love for anything is for one's own sake. And finally,
Sumanji, hello
yeah,
Sumanji. I have
yes,
put a message in the group. If you can have a look on your mobile just for 1 second, and if you understand, do that.
yeah, just a minute.
Ah.
Is it in the chat?
No, in Bhagavad Gita group.
Oh, okay.
If you get it, then you can enlarge.
Click the square on top to enlarge.
There I have put the picture. It's okay. If it's kindly done, yes. If not, yeah, this one.
Okay. Thank you.
Again, yeah.
Is it okay now?
It's okay, fine.
I'm not able to enlarge it even further. If I do this, it becomes small. Is this okay?
Okay. Yeah,
This
it's
is better.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. First, he makes her understand that love for anything is for one's own sake. And finally, it is the self that is the most beloved. Therefore, he tells her, indeed, my dear, Atma has to be seen. Atma, Atma vare, are drishtavya. Drishtavya.
Atma va
Atma var are drishtavya.
Atma
Drishtavya.
va are drashtavyah.
Atma va are drishtavya. Drishtavya is to be seen, means it has to be known clearly as if it were seen. For that, what should be done? How am I to see myself? Since any known means of knowledge is inappropriate to know oneself, the knower, Yajnavalkya says, indeed, my dear, Atma has to be listened to. Atma va are shrotavya. Listening. Listening in the context is inquiry into the Vedanta Shastra with the help of a teacher. Since I am here already, Atma cannot be gained unless it is in terms of knowledge. Therefore, this pramana is necessary. After listening, there can be doubts put forth by my own intellect or by others. The Buddhist will say that Atma is Shunya, and I have to see for myself very intimately how that is wrong. Otherwise, it is my doubt also. Anything that is said against the vision of the Shruti, which I have to come to understand by proper Shravana, has to be very closely analyzed and met with. Therefore, Yajnavalkya says, indeed, my dear, the self is to be reflected upon. Atma va are mantavyah. Then, even if everything is very clearly understood, the orientation that one is the body can still remain. This has been there for countless births, so that even though I know that I am not the body, being hostage to the past, the orientation does not immediately get corrected. This knowledge is which we call knowledge with obstructions. Sa pratibandhika jnana. Sa pratibandhaka Sa pratibandhaka jnana. Therefore, I have to contemplate upon this pratyakatma that was unfolded by the Shastra. Yajnavalkya says, indeed, my dear, the self is to be contemplated upon. Atmava are nididhyasana. Nididhyasavyaha. Nididhyasittavyaha. Nididhyasityavyaha. It is to be done purely for the sake of removal of obstructions. How long? How do you know when to stop eating? This is the same. It will stop itself. You need not exercise your will to stop it. Some people require nididhyasana. This is the contemplation that is talked of in this verse where he says, by contemplation some see the self, dhyanena pashyanti kechit atmanam. Again, the word see, pashyanti, is used. Contemplation is specifically mentioned here because it is very rare for a mumukshu not to require it. Every person has obstructions to knowledge, and the majority have to spend time in contemplation upon the Pratyekatma being Sat Chit Anandam Brahma. Shankara describes Nididhyasana here as resolving the sense organs from the sense objects into the mind and the mind into Pratyekatma, which is nothing but consciousness, and dwelling upon that with a single pointedness. That is dhyana. As an illustration of how it is to be done, he says that one should meditate without moving from that which is contemplated upon, just as a crane with its beak in the water, waiting for something to move, or like the mountains on the earth standing motionless, seems to meditate.
Can you
Dwelling
just
upon
repeat this
Pradya,
Sumaji?
yeah,
This paragraph. Some people
yeah.
require Nididhyasana.
Some people require Nididhyasana. This is the contemplation that is talked of in this verse when he says, by contemplation, some see the self. Dhyanena pashyanti kechit atmanam. Again, the word see, pashyanti is used. Contemplation is specifically mentioned here because it is very rare for a mumukshu not to require it. Every person has obstructions to knowledge, and the majority have to spend time in contemplation upon Pratyekatma, being Sat Chit Anandam Brahma. Shankara describes Nididhyasana here as resolving the sense organs from the sense objects into the mind, and the mind into Pratyekatma, which is nothing but consciousness, and dwelling upon that with a single pointedness. That is dhyana. As an illustration of how it is to be done, he says that one should meditate without moving from that which is contemplated upon, just as a crane with its beak in the water, waiting for something to move, or like the mountains on the earth, standing motionless, seems to meditate. Dwelling upon Pratyekatma can be twofold. As you see any object, either perceptually or in your mind, you turn your attention towards Pratyekatma, who is Sakshi. This is Drishya Anuviddha Savikalpa Dhyana. Then you bring in words that are true to the nature of Pratyekatma, like Chaitanya, Purna, and see how meaningful they are for you. This is Shabda Anuviddha Savikalpa Dhyana. How can I be Purna? How I can be Purna? If I am the body or a thought, I cannot be Purna. In order to meditate upon Atma, you first have to know what Atma is, and that knowledge is gained from the Shastra. Meditation will not reveal Atma because the meditator is Atma, and therefore, whatever you know about yourself will be the Atma that is meditated upon. So, Shravana is not an option here at all. Because of that alone, these words are meaningful. I'll read this bit again. How I can be Purna? If I am the body or a thought, I cannot be Purna. In order to meditate upon Atma, you first have to know what Atma is, and that knowledge is gained from the Shastra. Meditation will not reveal Atma because the meditator is Atma, and therefore, whatever you know about yourself will be the Atma that is meditated upon. So that is why you should know from the Shastra what Atma is. So therefore, whatever you know about yourself will be the Atma that is meditated upon. So Shravana is not an option here. Because of that alone, these words are meaningful. We meditate purely for the removal of obstructions to our clear understanding of Shastra. And therefore, it is a part of Shravana.
Hello.
Yes?
That so Shravana is not an option here at all. That I have not understood. By Shravana only we will know what it is.
So that's what he's saying. It's not an option, you have to do it.
Do it. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yesterday also that was it. Okay.
Yeah.
It is interesting. It is interesting how it is Shravana that is mentioned. You know, it is not. It is not reading. It is not, because at that point, I think the medium of instruction, the medium was the Guru Shishya Parampara, it was taught verbally, and the Shishya would listen. There was not much of manuscripts, I suppose. All these manuscripts and imprint that happened later. So you had to listen to the words of the Shastra from a teacher, the teacher to the taught, and the disciple again to his disciple. So it went on like that. So probably that's why this Shravana is mentioned. That is, you have to listen through your ears.
No,
And
it
Yeah.
is
interesting
is
that although
like a
we can
mantra.
read the PDF, although we can each of us individually read the PDF, listening to it may make a big difference.
Yeah.
Which is why
Because the words carry the meaning, while listening. The first thing is from the Shabda only, that everything is created. So the meaning of that each word is like bija. The seed contains everything, like a
no,
mantra,
what I'm saying is correct. I completely agree. What I'm saying is the medium of of learning this, it has to be the method should be kind of Shravana, which also implies that you have to go to a teacher to learn it. It
learn
is
it.
not
Yeah,
something that you can read on your
yeah,
own
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
get
yeah.
it. So
That is
both
all.
are implied here. I mean, this just occurred to me. I thought I'll share why that Shravana aspect is so important.
Yeah.
Listening, which automatically implies that you go to a
Guru. Yeah.
the Guru Kripa
See,
is so
Mm.
there.
yeah. Even if like an ordinary thing, when your friend says that movie is good, you hear it and then you want to see it. So when you listen to the Shastra, you want to see the Atma as described by the Shastra. So then you meditate. This is what I feel now.
We might have been experienced, whenever we hear Guruji, it just goes in directly. That I experience, I have got the same words. If I read it, it may not go into it. But when we hear from him, I don't know his presence or his voice or his everything just goes. It just clears. That experience I have it. I don't know. Everyone might be.
But afterwards, I don't remember.
No, that is different. Therefore, Nidhi Dhyasa, daily we have to do that.
That is why the Manana is important. Going over it and
Yeah. So meditation will not reveal Atma because the meditator is Atma. Therefore, whatever you know about yourself will be the Atma that is meditated upon. So, Shravana is not an option here at all. Because of that alone, these words are meaningful. Very correct what we just discussed, no? Because of what we hear, because of that alone, these words are meaningful. We meditate purely for the removal of obstructions to a clear understanding of Shastra, and therefore it is a part of Shravana. The dhyana mentioned here is not upasana or prayer. That is something entirely different and is meant for gaining a steadiness of mind and a certain grace. Because Bhagavan has said, they see the self by the self, prepared mind. Atmana, Atmanam Pashyanti. Dhyana here is Nididhyasana. So this is about the prepared mind, the higher mind. When they meditate, they are actually doing Nididhyasana. Is that right? The dhyana mentioned here is not upasana or prayer. It is Nididhyasana by the prepared mind. If dhyana is taken as Saguna Brahma Upasana,
One
then
second. Nididhyasana here is according to what Shankara has described in the previous verse, in the previous paragraph, is your going back into your the sapratibandhika jnana, the jnana with a lot of obstructions. Because of that orientation from different lifetimes, we are not able to non-identify our body senses with ourselves. So from you retrieve yourself from the sense objects to the senses, go back into the mind, and then dwell on that object of meditation, so to say. It's not really the object of meditation, but with all this knowledge, the Shravana, Manana you have done, then you remain in that space where you are just with yourself, removing that orientation, right? So
yeah.
that becomes Nididhyasana. Therefore, the Nididhyasana is um, they see the self by the self, prepared mind. That dhyana is Nididhyasana.
Now, for that, we should have still body, that Sukham Sthiram Asanam. That is a must. Then mind also will be still. Then you do the dhyana. You will be that. That Sukham Sthiram Asanam is the really for every position. You have to be still. Then the mind will also be still. Then you can go deep into yourself. Because every verse of the Patanjali Yoga also is so profound, It's a really, we have to live it. That is what. Whenever we do any asana, Sukham Sthiram Asana, then you can directly go into the dhyana. That is what my experience is happening.
If dhyana is taken as Saguna Brahma Upasana, then Shankara says it is like the flow of oil. As a ribbon of oil consistently flows from one vessel to the other, so too in dhyana there is the consistent, undisturbed flow of the same vritti or vrittis that belong to the same species. Sajatitya vritti pravaha.
Rajatiya.
Sachatiya. Sachatiya vritti pravaha. This can be japa or any type of meditation upon Ishvara. This is also dhyana and can precede nididhyasana if necessary in order to steady the mind. Along with this, he continues to do shravana. Yeah. Atmani means in the buddhi. There they see the Purna Atma, which means they recognize Atma as being Purna by seeing one by one, that is, free from any particular limitation, like being a seer, hearer, thinker, etc. Free from all doership, enjoyership, etc. And is pure existence, pure consciousness, and limitlessness. They see the Purna Atma. All this they see as it was taught with a mind, Atmana, that is well prepared. Atma is not an object of the buddhi by its very nature and therefore cannot be seen as we literally understand it. All you have to do is to negate all the notions about the Atma and recognize the implied meaning, Lakshyartha, of the words revealing the nature of Atma. Thereby, the notions of being limited, happy, sad, etc. are negated. In contemplation, we bring the opposite of these notions until they finally drop off.
So I didn't quite understand what is the opposite of these notions of being limited, happy, sad. So you consider yourself as being limitless. So that the Lakshyartha, right?
Yeah,
So, so you
because
don't limit
Atma is
yourself
not
to the
understood by the buddhi. It's not an object for the buddhi. But yet we take the Lakshyartha is through the buddhi only. So that's why we bring those opposites, unlimited, all the opposite of those other notions.
Mm,
And finally, they also drop off.
mm.
Then only you become that pure consciousness, pure existence.
So
Purna.
being a seer, hearer, thinker, and a doer, enjoyer is you're limiting yourself. So you bring in the opposite of that. Opposite of that isn't you're limitless. You're not just a seer, thinker. You are the very, so you take yourself away from that doership and enjoyership. So therefore, we bring in the opposite of these notions and then they finally drop off.
So that is why we need the mind, because everything we have to go through the mind only.
Of course.
And then only you can transcend the mind. I never
Also,
understood this till now.
when you talk about Atma, all those things we read about, right? Like Nirakara, Nitya, Nirvikalpa, all that, right? I mean, so that's also one way of negating you're not this, not that. Like, is that something?
Yeah. That makes
Ultimately, we should not be doing, we should be being.
Yeah, like
When we think that we are like this means we are we doing it. Just be in that. Negate everything and just be.
for that again, you require the Shabda Pramana. Because without that, how are you going to even contemplating those.
That is the beginning, but at the end, talking
consciousness,
about
pure existence, limitless.
Savana.
Yeah, that is why, in order for you to get that vision also, you need the Shabda Pramana.
You know, when we read it in Atma Bodh, right, about that Atma, description of Atma. Oh, that's a knowledge.
And you might think Atma is Shunya, like how Buddhists think of. So therefore, these doubts can crop up anytime. It necessarily not from the oppositions, or like the Purva Pakshi. There is a Purva Pakshi in each of us probably. That is why the Manana is required to bring in a clear understanding, remove all the little doubts that we might have with what we hear, of what we hear. Therefore, Shravana, Manana, and then Nididhyasana. That is the orientation that we have, the identification with the body. So when you sit for meditation, you can get caught up with whatever is happening in your body, in the mind. So in order to remove that, then that is where Nididhyasana is required. And this is the way to do the Nididhyasana.
I have a thought. Gurudev has said, no, that Brahman is not a dry emptiness. It's not that dry nothingness that sometimes you have some experience like that in your meditation. Dry nothing. So Gurudev has said it is not that dry emptiness, but it is fullness. So what is this fullness? Is it Satyam Jnanam Anantam? Is that his fullness? What is fullness?
You have to
Satchidananda.
experience it.
Complete, right? We called it as it's Purna, it's complete. So that
You have to
how
experience it.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
you should just recognize.
What is
It is
fullness?
beyond
I
an
want to know.
experience. See, experience again, like we learned earlier
it's
in,
everything.
I think, Dhyana Yoga, is like Nirvikalpa Samadhi. It is only an experience. You have that sense of 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 uh, of that calm and peaceful state that you are in. But that, he very clearly says, if someone knocks the bell or there is some alarm that goes off, that's it. You come out of that experience. So that is certainly not the end. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is part of an experience that you gain with practice of meditation. But this Purna that is talked of here is much beyond that. It is yourself. It is you. So that you cannot really experience. I think that you should just be and recognize. It's a matter to recognize. It is not a matter to experience, I think. There's a difference between that and recognition, right? And then once that happens, there is no two there for you to explain, which is why enlightened people will not say, I'm enlightened. You cannot get out of that experience, of that recognition. So once you recognize it. That's it.
Can we
Where
read this
everything
paragraph
merges.
one
The
more time?
experience, the
Then this
experiencer,
experience of Anandam is also an experience, isn't it?
it is an experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is still, you are still coming from the sense of an enjoyer, doer and enjoyer. You're enjoying that ananda. So therefore, that is still not that state that we are looking at.
It is not an experience. It is being.
It is being.
It
It
is
is
a
an
nature
You
of
existence.
be. It's natural.
yeah.
You are that. But we are covered. We are uncovering it. It's not an experience. It is you.
I've heard Gurudev said that Buddha stopped at one step before.
Yes,
Buddha
before.
said that it is all nothing.
Ah.
But it is also fullness. Gurudev has said this. It is also fullness. So I want to
Fullness.
know fullness. What is Purna?
What
It
is
has to be-
Purna is that I, the big I.
Okay.
Who is
So
that I
which
who is
nobody
able to see
knows
that
to
emptiness?
explain.
Yeah. Who is that I who is able to experience that emptiness? That there is nothing. That is that I. That I is that Purna. I is that.
That's how the Shunya came, that zero. It is also Purna and also Shunya. The number zero has come up from this theory only.
Can I
This
read?
Purna mantra is so relevant here.
Yeah, that also came to my mind
No,
just
I'm
now.
just thinking about that. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnamevavashishyate. I mean, it's such a beautiful mantra, so pregnant with meaning. Just
I
one
think that is the
line, you can
definition
just,
of Purna.
yeah,
That is the definition of Purna. So you remove from it, it will remain again Purna. You add to it, it will again remain the same Purna.
that
You
is
cannot
Purna,
change
this is Purna.
Purna.
Yeah.
I think now she got the definition.
But it's a very beautiful question.
Okay. Shall I read?
Here the Swami has written such a beautiful this Nididhasana. I think I didn't come across this type of explanation for anything to become, so wonderfully written. Wonderful, really. This really the Nididhasana and all that. That is for us only to follow. Really very good.
If one is ready, only vichara is required. If one is ready, only inquiry, vichara is required. Thus Bhagavan says, some see the self by knowledge. Atmanam pashyanti. Kechit shankhena yogena. By Shravana alone, they know the reality of Purusha and Prakriti and are liberated by that knowledge. They have no other problem. Since Karma Yoga is mentioned separately in this verse, we have to understand these people as sannyasis or qualified people who do not have any obstruction in gaining this knowledge. That means there is discriminating capacity, viveka, dispassion, or objectivity, vairagya, and all the other qualifications like shama, dhamma, etc. Then you have an ideal situation for gaining this knowledge. All you have to do is shravana. Shankara says, such a person sees the self as eternal, distinct from the properties of the gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, and in the form of a witness of their karya. When he begins to yawn, he sees it as an effect of tamas. When he is agitated, that is rajas, and when he is very appreciative or contemplative, that is sattva. Since these are seen by him, it is clear that he is distinct from all of them. Atma does not yawn, much less does it get agitated or become quiet. It is always quiet. In fact, it is free from any change. All the three gunas are seen expressing as qualities of the antakarna.
It is
Not
like
only
this
that,
upadrashtanumantacha bharta bhokta maheshwara, the previous few verses that we learned, he is Anumanta. He just is a great permitter. He permits everything to happen.
Dr. Brahmra, your voice is kind of
Very
low. Can
slow, no?
you keep
Yeah.
it a little bit
You know,
loud?
I've actually, because it's
Sorry.
very early, and I'm sitting inside the house. I didn't want to disturb the others, so I've just reduced my volume. One
Okay,
second,
okay.
increase my volume. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better? Okay. So he's the great permitter, Anumanta, Upadrashta Anumantaja. He allows the sattva, rajas, tamo gunas to just play around. He just allows, whether it is a good thought or a bad thought that is happening, he just allows it to happen. He does nothing. He's just that witness. It is like the ocean bed on which waves dance around. The waves just come and they go. So the all of these, the qualities of sattva, rajas, tamas, whether he's yawning or whether he's agitated or whether there is some clarity, there is understanding, all of that is happening in that substratum on which all of that is happening. That substratum is the Atma, which is unaffected, by any of this.
All the three gunas are seen expressing as qualities of the Antakarna. Not only that, they account for the entire creation. The five gross elements, Panchabhutas, are born of tamas, of the subtle elements, which is why they are inert, jada. The organs of action and the prana are born of rajas, and organs of perception, jnanendriyas, and antakarna are born out of sattva. Then there are different vrittis brought about by these gunas. Atma is witness to all these various products of the gunas, which amounts to the entire creation. And it is nitya, which means it does not come into being. Atma Chaitanya is always a witness, sakshi, with reference to something to be witnessed and of itself. It is of the nature of pure consciousness, and being distinct from all the gunas, they do not bind him at all. This Viveka is called Shankhya.
One second, I think um, maybe it's a good opportunity. Do you want to continue reading and then we go to Tattva Bodh? I think there is how much more of this is there? I think maybe a couple of more paragraphs, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll finish
We'll
it up.
complete. Yeah, we'll finish this and then go to that.
Yeah. Since the next one is Karma Yoga, this one and the one who must also do contemplation, Nididhyasana, should be taken as sannyasis. They have nothing else to do but Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. Among them are those who have obstructions and those who do not. Those who have a strong orientation of being the body have to eliminate that obstruction in order to recognize this clearly, and therefore they do Nididhyasana. Those who do not need only inquiry, Shravana and Manana. Some require Karma Yoga. Then there are those who require Antakarna Shuddhi, and for that the means is Karma Yoga. They may also be doing Shravana and Manana, but in addition, they continue to perform karma, offering all their actions and the results of the actions to the Lord. How can Karma Yoga be the means for seeing the Atma? It helps to prepare the mind so that in time they will see. Karma Yoga is not an alternative path. Those who do Karma Yoga also have to pursue knowledge. That must be always emphasized. Their karma is an offering to Ishvara because it is not motivated by their own likes and dislikes, but by the situation. Then, when the results come, they are received as coming from Ishvara. Thus, likes and dislikes get neutralized, and with their obstructions removed, knowledge takes place. Both the sannyasis and the karma yogi have to understand the Shastra's vision of Atma, and both suffer from orientation of being the body, which is the opposite of what they have understood. Viparita bhavana. Therefore, there is no option in Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. So we have got to do all. The object of seeing Darshana is Atma, whose nature is Sat Chit Anandam Brahma. This can only be seen in the intellect as the content of every thought. As in all the notes of a flute, the sound of flute is recognized. Similarly, in every vritti, you recognize Paramatma. Because he says they see Pashyanti, it implies that Paramatma itself is recognized by a vritti. But it is not like the vritti with which a pot, etc. is recognized. This vritti itself has no form. It is the Akhanda Akara vritti. Akhanda Akara vritti. And thus, the content of this vritti can assume any form. Consciousness is present in every cognition, and if you see that this limitless consciousness is I, so this is where it is. So if you see that this limitless consciousness is I, that recognition eliminates all the limitations from the consciousness. Having destroyed the ignorance with reference to Atma Chaitanya being limitlessness, that vritti also goes away. So this recognition of I as limitlessness, that is the key.
And that is like the last, sorry. It is like how the last bit of the wooden, the stick that you stoke the fire, even that is ultimately put into the sacrificial fire, that is also burned. Similarly, this akhandakara vritti that we get from the Shastra of Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi, any of those, that ultimately, even that gets consumed in that flame of knowledge. So, vritti is ultimately like an object, right? It is still separate from you. So, once you are reveling in that, and at that time of recognition, at the time of enlightenment, at the time of, uh, if you want to name it, attaining moksha, that what happens is that akhandakara vritti also kind of gets sublimated. It also relieves itself, and then you merge in that I. And even saying merge in the I is wrong. You just recognize. That's it.
Like sugar, you cannot separate the sweetness of the sugar different.
It just dissolves in that water. No?
Yeah,
Just
same
becomes,
thing.
yeah,
What you recognize, you become that.
right. You are that. You're already that. You don't need to become that. Only thing that happens is that veil of ignorance is removed. The veil of ignorance that makes you feel or think that you are not that. The veil of ignorance is what makes us feel that I am limited. I am the doer. I am the enjoyer. I become happy. I am sad. I am angry. I am cheerful. All those are because of that ignorance veiling us. So, once with this knowledge from the Shastra, you've done enough Shravana, Manana, and then you've Nididhyasana, that all that you've done, then that veil of knowledge gets thinner and thinner. Ultimately, it gets removed. So, you are that. You recognize that you are that limitless I, pure consciousness.
Akhanda akara, formless, limitless.
Akhandakara vritti.
Gurudev has said that you are scintillating consciousness. So I was thinking about this word scintillating. How do you recognize this scintillating? It is by some movements or
No,
some
you just look at
vibration.
the whole world, isn't it? Look at how diverse the world is.
Hmm.
Just by looking at that, isn't that a record? That isn't that an evidence of scintillating consciousness? It is changing, ever changing. There is not a moment the Jagat is still. It is constantly changing. That is that scintillating. It is expressing itself in so many forms, so many uh, situations, so many whatever. All that you see in this world is nothing but an expression of the scintillating consciousness. Even the words
Hmm.
that are coming out, even the thoughts that are in your mind, it's
I think,
scintillating. What comes to my mind when we talk of scintillation is on a sheet of water, if the sun's rays are falling, how does that light dance around on those on that
yeah,
sheet of water? No, it's that scintillating. It is like full of life, full of
and that wave arises in your heart also. That waves of beauty. That
mm,
that experience, just as you said, when you see the nature,
right,
the magnanimity of creation
isn't it?
brings up that wave of appreciation, beauty in you. So that is
And just
also
look,
scintillating.
if you just look at the different flowers, I mean, look at the colors of the different flowers that are there. Anything for that matter. That if you're coming up from that space of wonder, that again takes you again. Of course, I think we're deviating a bit, but then
Yeah,
that that the color that is there, the amount of variety that is there.
I was caught up in this word, akanda akara vritti. So
Mm,
that's why I went to that
yeah,
scintillating
no,
consciousness.
right.
Those who do just what they are
Limitless,
told.
limitless consciousness. That is, akhanda means limitless consciousness.
Hmm.
Akara.
Akara is formless.
Formless. No, not formless. Form.
Oh,
So limitless form.
okay. Limitless form.
Hmm.
Those who do just what they are told. Shruti
Shruti
parayanaha.
parayana.
Shruti parayanaha. Then there are others who have no viveka. They do not know what is Atma and Anatma. And when you try to teach them, they do not understand. Yet they want moksha. For them, we advise various disciplines to prepare the mind. Those who follow such advice are called Shruti Parayanaya. Parayana, Parayanas. Shruti Parayanas. I think sometimes I fit in there because
I think all of us fit in there. Tell me how many of yeah, isn't it? That is why Gurudev has given us all these. This practice of Ashtanga Yoga, sadhana, all of this. See,
See, I
like
have
Viveka
posted
is the
one
Sankhya
Guruji's,
Yoga.
I have posted one Guruji's yoga short, no? He said, I have given you everything, in that. I have posted that in the group. Guruji's this one, about 2-3 days back. He told everything has been given to you. Very good, that is. So nice.
So those who follow such advice are called Shruti Parayanas. Those whose commitment is to what they have been told. The teacher who gives the advice may be a great Vedanti, but if he finds the student does not have adequate intellectual discipline to understand the Shastra, he will advise him to study grammar or logic and then teach him later. Or he may require some upasana or ashtanga yoga to steady his mind. This is told in the following verse.
So, should we just halt here and go to Tattva Bodh? And just give me a second. Let me share the screen for Tattva Bodh.
I think everything we have to go again and again and again till it becomes.
See, all this is ultimately to prepare the mind, no? To prepare the ground, to remove all those kalmashas, clean up the
To
dirty mirror so that we can have
orient ourselves.
true
To
vision of
orient
ourselves.
ourselves.
I'll stop sharing this.
We'll have to go further away where I think just give me a second till I go back. Yeah. So this is where the whole of the Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunas, the evolution of the Sattva aspect. I think I'll the universe. I think this is fine. So I'll just read these verses, but we'll go to Atma Tarhi Kaha. I'll just increase my, yeah. Am I enough audible? Yeah, fine. Atma Tarhi Kaha Sachidananda Swarupaha. Then what is the self? It is of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss. I'm just going to skip this whole of this, but I'll just go to uh, the evolution of the universe. Okay? Sat kim kalatrayepi tishtati iti sat. What is existence? That which remains unchanged in the three periods of time, past, present, and future, is existence. Chit kim jnana swarupaha. What is consciousness? It is of the nature of absolute knowledge. Anandaha kaha sukha swarupa. What is bliss? It is of the nature of absolute happiness. Evam Sachidananda Swarupam Swatmanam Vijaniyat. Thus, one should know oneself to be of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss. Atha Chaturvimshati Tattvotpatti Prakaram Vakshamaha. Now we shall explain the evolution of the 24 factors. Brahmashraya Sattva Rajastamo Gunatmika Maya Asti. Depending on Brahman, Maya exists, which is of the nature of the three qualities of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. The truth is called Brahman, Brahmatattvat Brahma, Brihat Brihattamatvat Brahma. That which is the big is Brahman. Big is an adjective that generally qualifies a noun. The adjective is limited by the noun it qualifies. Example, bigness is limited to the bigness of the elephant when we say, this is a big elephant. But when the adjective is used with a noun, there is no such restriction. Brahman is said to be the big. Its bigness has no limits. It is infinite. We have already seen that the pure self is infinite. Therefore, Brahman is the pure self. Every effect must have a cause. Every effect must have a cause. The world too must have a cause. The world is the effect and therefore it has to have a cause. The cause must exist before the effect. The truth alone existed before the names, forms, and qualities of the world came into existence. Therefore, the truth must be the cause of the world. But the truth is changeless. It cannot become anything other than itself. It is of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss. But we see that the world exists, yet it is ever changing, inert, and sorrow ridden. Then, from such a changeless cause, how can this changing world emerge? To explain this, Vedanta postulates the concept of Maya. Ya ma sa Maya, that which is not, yet appears to be, is called Maya. From the standpoint of the truth, there is no world, yet we experience it. This is Maya. From the standpoint of the world, the truth alone can be its cause. But from the standpoint of the truth, it can have no effect. This is due to Maya. A snake is seen on a rope. The rope cannot create the snake, yet we experience the snake. As far as the rope is concerned, there was never a snake, and there can never be a snake on it. Maya has two powers. The veiling power, Avarana Shakti. This is of the nature of ignorance, which veils the truth. This by itself cannot create the world. Second is the projecting power, Vikshepa Shakti. This is the creative power that projects the entire world of names and forms. It manifests inherent impressions. It cannot do so without the veiling power. As in the example, the ignorance of the rope should precede the projection of the snake vision. So the two powers the Maya has are Avarana Shakti and the Vikshepa Shakti. The truth, when endowed with Maya, is called Ishvara, the creator of the world. Maya, the creative power of Ishvara, is worshipped in the Hindu tradition as Shakti. The power of Maya is unfathomable. It can make the impossible seem real. It creates the boundaryless cosmos from beginningless times and shall continue to do so endlessly. I repeat, the power of Maya is unfathomable. It can make the impossible seem real. It creates the boundaryless cosmos from beginningless times and shall continue to do so endlessly. Maya, however, has no separate existence from the truth. Without existence, nothing can exist. Brahman alone has intrinsic existence. Therefore, Maya depends on the truth for its very existence. Also, in the truth, there is no trace of Maya. Therefore, Maya is destroyed on knowing the truth. Maya has three qualities. They are Sattva Guna, characterized by knowledge.
That sentence is the gist of everything, There is no trace of Maya. Therefore, Maya is destroyed on knowing the truth. That is the knowledge. That ignorance goes. So we are all in this Maya.
We are all covered by that Vikshepa and the Avarana Shakti and the Vikshepa Shakti of Maya.
But once the truth is known, that is destroyed. That is the crux of whole
It just disappears.
Vedanta.
See, all that is required for you to recognize the rope as a rope is just to put that light. Where is the rope? Where is the snake? The snake just disappears without a trace. The moment the recognition of the rope as a rope happens, isn't it?
So Vikshepa is
It's a projecting power.
projecting power. It's an illusion, illusionary power, isn't it?
Yeah, illusionary power. It projects the
And you
whole world.
see, it is the apparent reality. Vikshepa is the apparent reality.
Empirical reality.
Empirical, okay.
You see the rope as a snake. You project it. It is not there, but you project yourself. Oh, that is a snake. Because there was no light on it. There was no knowledge.
Because there
once
was that
the light,
Avarana Shakti, the Vikshepa Shakti, both were there. So similarly, we project the Jagat on Brahman and we look at the Jagat as real. And we get caught up in that cycle after cycle, birth after birth. We're reeling in that Jagat. So we need to come to the Guru, the Shastra, in order to remove this Vikshepa and this Avarana Shakti. So Maya has three qualities. They are Sattva Guna, characterized by knowledge, Rajoguna, which is of the nature of activity, and Tamoguna, which implies inertia. The three qualities pervade the entire creation. By their permutation and combination, an infinite variety of name, forms, and qualities are created. For any created object, there are two causes. The material cause, Upadana Karana, and the efficient cause, Nimitta Karana. To make a pot, there must be mud, the material cause, and the potter, the efficient cause. Usually, the two causes are different from each other. The material cause remains with the object, while the efficient cause is different from the object. What are the material and efficient causes of the world? Are they different or the same? The five great elements, Panchabhuta, are the material cause of the world. But who made them? That which made them must exist before creation. We have already seen that the truth alone exists before creation. Therefore, the 5 elements must have emerged from the truth alone. By the same logic, the efficient cause of the world too must be the truth alone. We see that whenever the material and efficient cause is the same, the created object is an illusion. So whenever we see the material and efficient cause is the same. Now, where is this material cause come from? The Panchamahabhutas. They've come from the truth. The truth is the efficient cause. So here we have a situation, unlike the clay and the potter, clay is the material cause and the potter is the efficient cause. So therefore the pot is separate from him. You can see it separate from the potter. Whereas here the material cause, the Panchamahabhutas, and the efficient cause, the truth, are the same. We see that whenever the material and efficient cause is the same, the created object is an illusion. Example, in the dream, the waking mind alone is the dream world and its creator, sustainer, and destroyer. Thus, a dream is an illusion. This being so, there can be no logical sequence to creation. That is why all this is beyond logic. If you remember, if we try to analyze where did the first prarabdha karma come, it is beyond logic. You can't. It's beginningless. So just like how in a dream, the waking mind alone is the dream world and its creator, sustainer, and destroyer, thus a dream is an illusion. So, this being so, there can be no logical sequence to creation. But for us, the waking world is real. It does seem to be governed by natural laws, and there also seems to be a cause-effect relationship between various happenings. Keeping our experience in mind, the author now explains the sequence of creation, the evolution of the 5 elements. Tatah akashah sambhutah, akashad vayuh, vayos tejah, tejas apah, adbhyah prithvi. From that Maya, space was born. From space, air. From air, fire. From fire, water. From water, earth. The process of creation is from the subtle to the gross. Subtlety is measured by an object's pervasiveness and the number of perceivable qualities it has. The more pervasive the object, the more subtle it is. The lesser the number of qualities, the subtler it is. The truth is the subtlest of all. It is all pervasive and beyond the cognition of all the instruments of knowledge, as it is attributeless. So it is directly proportional to its pervasiveness. The more the subtler a thing is, an object's pervasiveness is directly proportional to its subtlety. And the more subtle an object is, the less attributes it has. So very
More time, please.
see with respect to subtle, the more subtle an object is, the more pervasive it is, like space,
Air.
and even beyond space. The more subtle an object is, the less attributes it has, the less description you can give. How can you describe space?
Yeah.
Whereas when you come to Earth, when you come from the space, fire, space, air, fire, um, water, and earth. Earth, you have so much to describe. It is hard, it has a smell, it is, it is rough or smooth. All that you can explain. Whereas space, how can you explain? It is, the more subtle it is, the less description it has, the less qualities it has.
Good.
Space is first element, which is why they say truth, which is Atma, is attributeless. It has no qualities. Nirguna. Now we understand how the truth is nirguna. It is beyond attributes. Space is the first element created through the power of Maya. It is the subtlest of the elements. It has the quality of sound and can therefore carry sounds as sound waves. Now we understand why the Shabda Pramana is important. Because the Shabda is closest to the space is closest to sound. Or because space has the quality of sound. I should put it that way. That is why Shravana is important. That is why Shabda Pramana is important. All this makes so much sense now. That is why Om is the closest to Brahman. The syllable that is closest to
Sound is the subtlest. Sound is the most subtlest. That is what.
So from space came air, which is less pervasive. It has the qualities of sound and touch. Therefore, it can be heard and felt. Fire emerged from air. It is less pervasive and has the qualities of sound, touch, and form, and it therefore can be heard, felt, and seen. You see how it is progressing? I mean, it is getting more and more descriptive. Water came next in order and is even less pervasive. It has the qualities of sound, touch, form, and taste, and can be heard, felt, seen, and tasted. Even though it is tasteless by itself, all taste is possible due to it. The last is the earth, which is the grossest and the least pervasive. It has the qualities of sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, and can therefore be heard, touched, seen, tasted, and smelled.
Can you please read about the Vayu part? I missed that part.
Yeah, I'll read the Vayu. So from space, see, space is the first element created through the power of Maya. It is the subtlest of the elements. It has the quality of sound and can therefore carry sounds as sound waves. From space came air, which is less pervasive. It has the qualities of sound and touch. Therefore, it can be heard and felt. Fire emerged from air. It is less pervasive and has the qualities of sound, touch, and form, and it therefore can be heard, felt, and seen. Water came next in order and is even less pervasive. It has the qualities of sound, touch, form, and taste, and can be heard, felt, seen, and tasted. You can hear the gushing of a river. You can feel the water. You can see it. And you can also taste it. It's because of course, the water is tasteless, but because of the presence of the taste buds, we are able to even experience it. And for that, there is that the cytoplasm, the cell, all that is required for perception to happen. And therefore, the presence of the water itself makes taste be experienced. The last is the earth, which is the grossest and the least pervasive. It has the qualities of sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, and can therefore be heard, touched, seen, tasted, and smelt. These subtle elements are called tanmatras. They cannot be perceived by our sense organs. Only when they grossify can they be perceived as the sense objects. I'm just going to read this one last para and then we'll wind up today. The material cause is never different from the created object. Therefore, the three qualities of Maya pervade the five elements. As we have seen, the ultimate material cause of the world can be the truth alone. Therefore, the truth pervades the five elements, just as gold pervades all gold ornaments and water all waves. When does Maya create the five elements? The three qualities of Maya, in their unmanifest form, remain in a state of equilibrium, samya avastha. When this balance is somehow disturbed, the process of creation begins. We'll stop here at this very interesting part. It's like how soap operas stop at a very crucial, crucial turn of events. We will stop this. Let that curiosity and that thing, wonder remain in all of us. So how does Maya create the five elements? The three qualities of Maya, which are Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, in their unmanifest form, remain in a state of equilibrium, samya avastha. When this balance is somehow disturbed, the process of creation begins. It's a big wow, really. And I'm so glad that we are revisiting Tattva Bodh. All this makes so much sense. When I was
Is
reading
this a
this,
different book, Dr. Pramra, or is this the
no,
same
this
book?
is Swami Tejomayananda's. This is what
Oh,
we
okay.
read. I think what we read.
Yeah, every time we read, it looks different.
That is how it is. That is how this beautiful knowledge is, no?
Yeah, and actually, it gets clearer and clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pura, although you've read it, it looks nava.
yeah,
It looks new. It looks new.
yeah.
That is the beauty of this knowledge. So,
Yes, good.
what came to my mind as I was reading this was in Kathopanishad, I think Gurudev says, that is how um, it is the smell and the taste that leave. And then it is the touch. How, in their, in the order of their subtlety, even those sense perceptions leave the soul, leave the body when the soul leaves
Yeah,
the body.
that's true.
Sound is the last that goes. That is why you chant. When you chant mantras,
Mm,
the last of the sense perceptions that goes. So they can still hear. That is why they keep chanting mantras.
yeah, yeah.
Very, very beautiful. Yeah. So I think we will leave this here. We'll continue from where we left. We'll begin with Tattva Bodh tomorrow. And we'll continue the evolution of the sattva aspect. We'll go up until the evolution of the tamas and the panchikarana. We'll revise that once, and then we'll go back to the 13th chapter, the next verse, where he talks of why people who do not have the viveka need to be prepared, and therefore they require ashtanga yoga. They require some other tools to discipline the mind. We'll go to that verse afterwards, but let's complete this creation and and see how from the samya avastha, where all these three are in equilibrium, how creation happens. Yeah. So we'll stop.
Brahmaraji, from
Yes.
Rajas point, Rajas from Rajas, the Karmendriya came, but from Sattva, what came?
The Jnanendriyas. And that the
Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, and then from Tamas,
tamas
it
is all the gross body.
gross body.
All the gross
Okay.
elements that we
While
see.
you were reading, I was thinking when the elements in our body changes, like you said, no, last is the um, voice, audio. We leave the body. When we leave the body, that sense goes away. But
Right.
when we have some problem in a body, we can understand which element is imbalance in the body, isn't it? Like Ayurveda is getting there.
Right.
Thank you.
All this makes sense, no?
Yeah, too much.
And I cannot be grateful. I cannot be more grateful to all the teachers of yore who have kept this knowledge alive and they've handed it down to us. How fortunate we are really to be able to
Yes,
receive this such a huge blessing,
especially Shankaracharya.
really. The lineage of masters, Guru Parampara. That is the sampradaya. They've kept that sampradaya of this knowledge alive, this lineage. All right. So we'll, in this space of gratitude, I think we'll close our eyes and offer all this, the blessings that we we gain from this being in this space of knowledge. Let it go to the whole creation. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Jai Gurudev.